Good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock. I'm looking at my thermometer. It's a crisp 3 degrees here in Coralville. So hopefully you can all hear me all right. So just comment when you find me and let me know you can hear me okay. Yeah, it's pretty cold outside. We went out to, Judy and I and Joanne Armbruster went out to, hi Lynn, went out to the Amandas they always have a quilt shop kind of little sale every spring. So it doesn't feel very springy today though. It was pretty cold. Oh, there's Margaret and Deb. Lynn's been waiting for me. It's just at 6 o'clock. You must be home from your retreat or your crop. Getting all kinds of people to come in. Yeah, so say something when you come in that you can hear me okay. Got 10. Oh my gosh, we got 10 people. Just a second. I'm having trouble seeing the comments, so just a minute. Lori. Hi, Judy. Lori. Clara's here. Margaret. Hi, Margaret. Denise. Jackie Shaw. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Lori. Oh, hi, Clara. Yeah, we found some good stuff. I got a quilt kit. It's called Gentleman's, let's see, something about Gentleman's something. It's kind of a neat kind of a strip quilt. So I had to order some fabric, though. They didn't have all the fabric. So I did get something today. It was really fun going out, but it was pretty cold. You know, this camera works pretty good. Does it look pretty good on your end also? I like the camera. It's not a really expensive camera, but I was watching, just before I got on, I was watching YouTube, and I was watching the Kimber gals, and they get on every Tuesday, and oh my gosh, their camera's terrible. You can't see a thing. Oh, here's Connie. Donna. Hi, Donna. Hi, Connie. Donna and Denise. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Deb. Good. Oh, and hi, there's Pam. Okay, so this is what we're going to do tonight. We're going to work on this pillow. And this pillow, I started working on these a month or two ago. I love the Kimber pillows, the bench pillows, but they're so large that I don't have any place to put them, and they're like, because those are like 16 by 38. Well, I wanted a smaller pillow, and this still gives you the look of a bench pillow. It's long and slim, but it's much smaller. So this one is 12 by 22. And the other thing I want pillows to be quilted in the hoop so that I don't have to quilt them afterwards, because I've done a couple of the bench pillows and they are darling and they turn out wonderful. But at the end, after you get them all pieced together and the whole top done, you have to quilt it. And I'm not a very good quilter when it comes to like free motion or anything like that. So I have to come up with something on my embroidery machine to do it, which works fine. But I would prefer that. Oh, Pam, you finished your rug. Awesome. I saw Maria's rug, Lisa. She posted it on her own Facebook page. I just saw her rug, so she's got hers done. But I want my pillows to be all quilted in the hoop. So this works really great. It's in 3 hoopings that are 8 by 12. So and then you sew them together to make one top, and then we're going to put there's like an envelope back on here. So it's really easy to put it together. So this week we'll go through some embroidery. We'll do a little embroidery together. And then next week we'll meet at the same time, and I'll show you how to put it together. Because I actually put it together a little differently. You use those envelope backs, but instead of putting like piping or something on the edge or just sewing it together, there's actually binding all the way around the edge of this. And it makes it look like piping. Piping is kind of difficult to put on pillows because you got to make sure you get it to meet up, you know, where the ends start and stop. So I actually really like this binding because it worked great because binding, you know, it starts and stops and comes together at the end, and I don't have any trouble. So anyway, so that's how I did this. So we're going to do this first panel today, the one with the shamrock. And I did use I think in the instructions we'll go through the cutting here for a minute so you understand the cutting. Hopefully everybody that bought the design understands it. If you don't have the design and you decide you want it, just let me know. You can email me or personal message me. And the design is only $10, and it has the instructions and the 3 designs to do this. So, and I'm going to be doing a Easter one. So I haven't started my Easter one, but I know what I want to do. And then I've also got a Valentine one. Here, I can show you the Valentine pillow. I didn't have this group going by Valentine's Day, otherwise I would have done it. But I do have the design. So if anybody wants the Valentine design, it's the same size. So here's the Valentine one. And it's the same size. So it would fit on your same pillow. So you could just take, you know, take your pillows off and your covers off and put the new one on each season. So I'm going to make them all the same size. I really like this. It's big enough, but it's not too big. So anyway, this design is $10 too. So if anybody wants the Valentine one, you can let me know. And okay, so let's talk a little bit about the cutting. So hopefully everybody understood the cutting. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera down because I've got all my stuff laying down here on my computer or my machine. So just a second here, I'll put the legs down. I've ordered a new tripod that clamps onto my sewing table. And I'm going to, that should be here before next week. So hopefully I won't make you so sick moving my camera around. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the cutting. If you have your instructions, the cutting said to have 3 pieces of batting that are 9 by 13. So I've just got, this is Hobbs batting. I usually use cotton batting or cotton polyester blend. So this is a cotton polyester blend. And I like that. So that's 9 by 13. You need 1 piece for each section. There's 2 pieces that are of center fabric. That's what we're going to be using tonight. That is 6 by 12, 6.5 by 8.5. Those are for the 2 outside panels of the rug, or the rug. I'm thinking about rugs still. 2 outside panels of the pillow. So they're the inside piece is the whiter, the kind of creamy colored piece. So those are 6.5 by 8.5. And then on top of those will go these border pieces. And these are 6.5 by 3.5. So they're going to be, there's one on the top and one on the bottom. So you needed 4 of these. And then you needed 2 longer pieces. These are 14 inches long. So they're going to be on the left or the right side for the outside panels. And those are 3.5 by 14. So we need 2 of the 3.5 by 6.5 and a 3.5 by 14 for this piece that we're going to do tonight. And then 1 of the 6.5 by 8.5s. The center panel is just got a bigger piece of the clear, the creamy color. So this one's 8.5 by 8.5. And then you need 2 border pieces that are 8.5 by 3.5. So that's hopefully the cutting information on the instructions made sense to you. So that's all the different pieces. Then for applique, and you can do this different ways. I'm kind of getting into this putting some glitter vinyl, which you can use for, it's heat transfer vinyl with the glitter, and you can use it like on your shirts, you know. And this is going to be my applique piece, and these are green glitter vinyl. I got this, I think, at maybe Hobby Lobby. Seems to work pretty well. And then you iron it on. So that's why I wanted to do one of these panels tonight, so that you knew how to do this glitter vinyl if you got it. You can just use regular fabric. If you don't like the glitter, you can use regular fabric too, and that'll be great. So anyway, we're going to use 1 piece of that tonight as well. And then, whoops, look in here. I have everything on the floor. Then these pieces are my backing and my binding. So I have 2 pieces of binding that are the width of the fabric, 2 1/4 inches. And then I have 2 panels that are, I think it's 12 by 14 panels here. And these are going to be our backs, and we'll use those next week. So I'm going to set those aside because we're going to use those next week. All right, let me get all my pieces out of the way here. So does anybody have any questions on the cutting? Did it make sense to you, what you were using it for? I think if you looked at the picture, it probably made sense. So, okay, so we've got our pieces here that we're going to use tonight. I got to get a piece of batting. And we're just going to sew along together. I know this will take about a half an hour to sew out, but I wanted to do show you a couple things that might have been a little confusing in the instructions. So I'll kind of go by the instructions and read them to you so you understand. Oops. Got to get rid of the rest of my fabric so it won't fall on the floor. The cats were up on the cutting table while I was cutting this batting, so I've got cat hair all over it. Okay. So we're going to do a left panel. So there's a left panel, and you can tell them apart when you look at them because there's the long pieces on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side. So you need to do one left and one right panel, and those are the ones that have the glitter shamrock in them with the Celtic knots around it. And then the center is the little Irish blessing in the center. Okay, so what does it say to do first? It says hoop no-show mesh stabilizer. So we are using no-show mesh stabilizer in the hoop here. I just got that hooped. You do want, one of the very few things I actually pull on when I hoop is no-show mesh. I want to make sure that it is taut in my hoop and so that it doesn't sag and that my hoop is very tight. So I've got that in there. This is an 8 by 12 hoop. Then I'm going to just place my batting. Actually, I'm going to do the placement line. I put a placement line in this one. So we're going to put our placement line in to make sure we got the batting in the right spot. Get my design up on my machine. Give me a second here. And we're going to do the left-hand panel. And then your homework this week will be to do the other 2 panels. And they're going to be done the same way. The only thing that will be different for the middle one is that there's no side panels. There's just going to be a top panel and a bottom panel, but they're done basically in the same order. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set this. And I have to hit embroidery. I'm going to get a little bit closer. Oops, I got a cord down here. A little closer so you can see it. And then I've got to, I got to thread my machine. No, I got my machine threaded. Put my foot down, and I'm going to sew out my placement lines. That's the first thing we're going to do is do the placement line. Got to move the camera back. We're going to get hit by the hoop here. I just figured we'd just do a little sewing together. I like to sew with my friends, and I can't see you, but I can sure talk to you by comments in the comment section. There's a couple of things that I wasn't sure if people would understand in the instructions, so I thought, well, we'll just do this together. And I'm hunting for my scissors here while this is sewing. And by the way, I just have a pre-wound embroidery bobbin, so you just want bobbin thread in the bobbin. Okay, so there's my placement. There's my placement line. Now I'm going to lay my batting in here. Hopefully minus the cat hair. I'm going to lay my batting in here. And I'm going to stitch out number 2, which is the batting placement line, or the tack down line. So we're going to sew this one out. So I placed the batting over the placement line in number 1, and now I'm doing the batting tack down line. Now you may want to watch this batting a little bit. Sometimes it has a tendency to scoot just slightly. So I am watching it. The other thing you can do, and I'll let this sew out and I may show you something on my machine. Sometimes I actually raise the presser foot pressure or the presser foot height just a hair, because see how my batting is scooting a little bit on me? I don't know if you can see that. I got a little pucker up here, but I think it's going to be okay. I think I'll just leave it. I'll show you where you can change that. I think I have mine up one, but I think I need to put it up two, because this batting is just a little poofy. My favorite batting to use is that Quilter's Dream Cotton, because it's real thin. This is a little bit poofier. It's Hobbs, but it does work fine. I'm trying to watch the comments here. Oh, Denise Walker is here. Hi, Denise. Okay, so it goes around twice. I like to have a double, like a double stitch when I go around, because I have to trim next. So it says to trim the batting close to the stitches. So we're going to trim around here, close to the stitches. You'll also notice that I slightly inset the sewing line so that it is just slightly smaller than my placement line. That keeps the batting out of the seam allowance better. And I do have that tiny little pucker up there. Usually I take this out of the machine to trim it, but I wanted you to be able to see me, so I'm doing what I normally don't do, is trim in the machine, but that way you can see me doing this. I do the best I can. I don't get it too. I'm going to pull this out a little bit so I can get to the top. Maybe. It says 30 minutes on my machine for the, and I've got my machine set at about 700, I think. I'm sewing on a Luminaire, so it can sew faster than that, but it's kind of fast for me. So I'm going to put this back in. And then the next step says center fabric placement line. So we are going to put this is for this kind of tannish color, and we're going to do the placement line. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that out. I've got, I only use 4 colors in this design. I've got kind of a creamy color Madeira thread in here right now. Hi, Denise. Do you find cutting batting like this dulls your scissors? I haven't really noticed that it has, Denise. I use these are, I don't know if you can see these or not. These are double curved, 6-inch double curved scissors. I have Gingers, and these are, oh, these are my Femore scissors. I have about 5 or 6 pairs of these. And I have had them sharpened, yes, but I've used them a lot. Okay, so my placement line, you can probably see the indentation here. It's the thread's pretty matchy. Okay, so this is where we're going to lay our piece over. That was 6.5 by 8.5. And this one is very hard to tell the front and the back. So I'm going to make sure I get it right side up. Now the trick is we want to make sure there's a 1/2 inch. I'm going to turn my page here. You want to make sure that there's going to be a seam allowance on the inside edge here, because that's where we're going to sew together our pillow pieces. So I'm going to hang that out over the edge a little bit, and I want to make sure that I'm covering the other side. My fabric, I had just barely enough, so I'm just really going to be very close on fabric here. So I'm just going to lay it down. And now the next step says center fabric tack down. So we're going to go ahead and tack this down. This is step number 4. So we're going to tack this down. I think I have a comment, so I'm trying to get to it. I do want to kind of hold this down so it doesn't move. The batting really helps. When you have batting underneath, things don't move around so much. But every now and then I'll get a little pucker on mine. And it does go around it twice. I like that double line so that when I am when I'm cutting against it, I don't have stitches ravel out on me. The second my iron was deciding it was going to shut off, we needed it a minute. And we're on number 4. It says center fabric tack down. Trim the fabric 1/4 inch from stitching on the inside of the block. Now, when I made these dimensions for cutting the fabric, as you can see, mine is extremely close to 1/4 inch all the way around. And then you want to leave a 1/2 inch out here. So to be quite honest, you probably will not have to trim unless you happen to make your fabric a little large. So I'm not going to trim any of this. It's so close to 1/4 inch that it's not worth taking the time to trim it. But I did put those instructions in there if you happen to have your pieces be a little bit large. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Now, the top border sewing line. I did not put a placement line in for this because we know exactly where the top border is going to go, because it goes right along the edge of this top piece up here. So we know exactly where it goes. So I didn't need a placement line. And I'm trying to get a hold of mine. Just a second here. So here's a piece of my border fabric. And look, I made them the same width. So we're going to put our right side. So this is flip and fold. So we're going to put the right sides together. The raw edge is up here. The raw edge of this piece. We're going to lay them right sides together with the raw edges together. And then we're going to sew out the tack down line. So there was no placement line on this one. You just go ahead right to the tack down line. It says before sewing, place the top border fabric right sides together with the center fabric, raw edges together. After sewing, flip the fabric right side up and finger press. So now I'm ready to flip this up and cover up this. We're going to cover this batting up here. Flip this up. I'm going to finger press a nice seam here. Make sure it's nice and flat, like that. And then the next step is going to be a tacking stitch, just to tack this down so that it won't flop around on me. So we're going to put that down. And as you notice, I am using the same thread for all of this piecing. I used kind of a neutral that went along with all of this fabric. So we're going to sew down the tack. So it's just going to go around it once just to hold it down for me. Now I'm going to pull this out so you can see a little better since it went to the top. What I mean in this instruction here that says trim the fabric 1/4 inch from stitching on the inside of the block. So any pieces that are right along here where they're going to be another piece of fabric on top of it, you want it to be 1/4 inch. Again, I made these pieces almost exactly the right size, so you may not have to trim this at all. So I'm not going to trim. You can see mine are almost exactly the same size. And then you want to leave a 1/2 inch around the outside edge, because we do need to make a seam allowance there when we get ready to sew the pillow together. So don't trim these down to 1/4 inch all the way around the outside. Leave that extra 1/2 inch out there, or in this case, I've almost got an inch on the top. Okay? So that's what that instruction on number 6 means. Then the next step is we're going to sew the bottom border. So again, I've got my raw edge right here. I've got my other piece of fabric. Again, I'm going to put my raw edges together. There's no placement line on this one because we don't really need it. I'm going to put my fabric even. The raw edges are together, right sides together. And then I'm going to sew down that tacking line. Does everybody have any questions so far? Does this make sense to everybody? I tried to make it really easy. had to think through the steps a little while because I like flip and fold, but sometimes there's a lot of lines when you start digitizing these, and I wanted it to be really simple. Okay, I'm going to get a little closer so you can see. I'm going to pull this down, again, right side. I'm going to flip it right side up, and I'm going to finger press. Like that. And then the next step is going to stitch this down along here, just a tacking line so that it won't flop around on us. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Looks like I might have another comment here. Let's see. Oh, Jackie understands. That's good, Jackie. Okay, and again, on this instruction, I say to trim a 1/4 inch from the stitching on the inside of the block. What I mean is, whoops, I'm going to have to back up a little bit. Down here, this is the inside of the block right here because there's going to be more fabric over the top. I want the 1/2 inch out here. But this fabric is so close, so you may not have to trim. I just put it in there thinking people may have made their fabrics just a little larger. So I just wanted you to understand why I did that. Oh, does anybody know of a good scissor sharpener in Davenport? There's some folks in Iowa City, Jackie, and the name of the company is called Honed to Perfection. And that's the only one I know of, and they do like a lot of the scissors for like the hairdressers and stuff in town. I'm not sure how they will do what they would do with this type of scissor. I don't know if they are accustomed to sharpening this type of scissor. Famore, if you own Famore fit scissors, you can buy them online, and I have a bunch of these. They used to come to all the quilt shows. You can mail these to them and they sharpen them, so I have done that several times. Oh, Kim is here, or the Nobles. I don't know if it's Jerry, Kim, or Maddie, so one of them is here. Okay, so now we have the top and the bottom border. Now we're going to do the outside border. Remember, with the other side, the border is going to be on the right instead of on the left. All right. Again, there is no placement line. We know where we're going to put this fabric because here's our seam allowance. We're going to put the right sides together with the raw edges together. Then get this one cut very straight. Okay. Lay that down. Make sure I got the flipper down. And then we're going to sew out the tack down line. I really like stuff like this that is quilted in the hoop. Like, I'm not a big hand to want to have to quilt it afterwards. Denise. Oh, K&K sharpened scissors, but not our specialty scissors, yeah. Some of the companies, I think, will do like your shears, your straight scissors, but to do these type of specialty ones, that's why I bought them from Famore, because they offer that sharpening service. What the cost of it is free. It's free, but you have to mail them. You just pay for the mailing to them and then mailing back. You send them the money in the envelope and then they mail them back to you. All right, so I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to finger press. And then I'm going to put my foot down, and then the next step is going to be our tack down line again. Outside border tack down. That is number 10. I tried to make the numbers on the screen of your computer, of your machine, and the numbers on the sheet match up so you knew what you were doing. And please, if you notice any kind of like spelling errors or like something that you just totally don't understand, let me know in the instructions because I'll be more than happy to fix them for you. All right, so we have all of our borders on already. Look at there, we got our borders. They're all trimmed down like that. I don't know how many people are sewing along with me. Is there anybody actually sewing with me? Okay, let's see. We're on number 11. So the next one is going to be the quilting in here. I put some nice stippling in the creamy colored part in here. So we're gonna do some stippling. I left my creamy colored thread that I pieced the whole thing with for the stippling. You can change your color if you want to have your stippling show more. Mine is going to be fairly light colored. I'm actually going to raise this back up now, maybe not. I think it's going to work too well up, so hopefully you can see okay. No, I was watching Kimberbell. I started telling you I was watching the Kimberbell YouTube videos. They do these little Tuesday tips, they call it, and oh my gosh, they must be using a phone to do the Facebook Live, and it's so blurry you can hardly see anything they're doing. So I hope that my camera is a little bit better than that, because I was really surprised at how poor the camera was. Oh, Lynn's just watching. You've been sewing all weekend, so you decided to watch, huh, Lynn? So another thing that I was thinking about doing on here, would you be interested in doing some scan and cut stuff? Like maybe making one of those pictures that I showed. A lot of you have been to Scan and Cut Club, and I made some of those fused pictures. Would you like doing that on here? Oh, Lisa's sewing with me. Connie says it looks great, so I'm glad that you can see okay. I mean, my camera's pretty decent. It's not like a really expensive one, but I just want to make sure you can see okay. But I was thinking maybe we'd do some scan and cut, like maybe some fabric cutting, or we could do other stuff too. But I know people were really interested in my pictures when I did Scan and Cut Club a couple weeks ago. And then I have some really good news. We're going to have a lot of you that are on right now have the PEP software, the Dime PEP software, and we're going to have a Facebook software club that we will have software classes. And it's going to be a separate group though, just to make it easier. Whoops, I think it's hitting my camera. For me to keep them separate. So we're going to keep them separate, and that will be coming soon. Lori wants scan and cut. Lisa says scan and cut. Yes, I would do scan and cut. Okay, well that's good. We'll do scan and cut. When I was digitizing this, I was having fun. And you'll notice when you go to sew out, I don't know if you can see it. I'll bring it out so you can see a little bit when it stops here. I had to, when I was using this heat transfer vinyl, you have to iron this on. And so my first sample, I ironed it on and I realized, oh, that's not going to work. Because when I pressed it down, you could see the stippling underneath of it. So if you look here, I think you can see it. Can you see how I've got this plain area in the center here? So that's where the fabric is going to go for the applique. Because the first sample I did, I put the stippling through the whole thing, and you could see all the stippling stitches when I ironed this applique stuff on. So it was really interesting. I didn't think I liked that too well. So okay, so the next step then is, I think we're on number 12. 12. Oh, the border quilting. So I'm going to change my thread. And I did my border in a dark green. So I'm using kind of a combination of colors. I've got, this is the Madeira that I used that matched my background really nicely. And then this is the Brother Simplicity Pro. This is an emerald green. I've actually been using this thread a lot, and I like it. Brother has a lot more colors now. They didn't used to have too many. They have like 192 colors now, I think. They used to only have 60. So it's really helped that I have more options. So, all right, so we're going to put the green in for the border. And there's little shamrocks all the way around the border. I didn't want mine to like pop out at me too much, so they kind of blend in, but they make texture. If you want to make it darker, you know, if you want them to really show, make a different color or gold, you could do anything you wanted with this. I just wanted mine to be more blendy. The fabric here was a little bit busy, so I didn't want it to be too like in your face. So that's what I did mine in. Oh, got some more questions. I can't reach the computer very well, so you'll have to forgive me. Margaret, I can't do two things at the same time. Oh, you can't watch and sew at the same time, huh? And Jackie's laughing at Margaret, or with Margaret, right? Well, that's why it's nice, because then these videos will stay in the group, and then you can go back and watch it. And if you want to sew, you could stop the video and then sew along, that type of thing. So, but the design, and thank you very much, those people that have purchased the design. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the support. So, I haven't digitized for a while, and I really, really miss it. So I'm working on the whole series of these pillows, and I guess I really like the Kimber bench pillows, and I just don't have any place to put them. They're just too big for me. So I thought, well, I'm just going to make my own then. And this size fit beautifully in this 8x12 hoop, and so it makes it really easy to sew just 3 panels together. So, and then they're all quilted and done before I put them together. So then I don't have to go back and redo because the bench pillows are very large, and if you don't quilt them, the fabric would just be too limp, because they are quite big, and if you don't quilt them, there's no body to them. And they definitely recommend that. But I had a really good time doing these. I'm also working on, I did the Valentine's one. I'm doing some, I think I'm going to do some, oops, second here. I think I'm going to do some pattern maker, some cross stitch too. I've been wanting to make some cross stitch designs. Haven't done any for a while. So has anybody got any other things that they're interested in doing? So we'll try some scan and cut stuff. What other things are you interested in doing? Knowing that we'll have software in a separate group. And we're definitely going to do software. Oh, did you digitize the bench pillows to do the quilting? Is that what you did? So that's what I did with mine too. Is I did it, you know, in the embroidery machine. I'm not able to do them the other way. Is that what you did, Denise? Is digitized them in the software to quilt them? I think they're beautiful. I just love them. It's just that for me, it's the size. I just don't have a good place to put those big pillows. So I wanted to make something similar but smaller. Yep, we're getting about done here. He says vouching. Oh, couching. Oh, you want to do the couching? Yes, on the cross stitch for Margaret. Okay, so see, Margaret and the people with the pattern maker software, I'm going to make the software group software club, so it's going to kind of encompass all of the software. We'll probably do primarily PEP, but I'll also probably stick a little bit of cross stitch software, because a lot of you have that as well. I have that group. I need to go pull my list of people who had that. And then also some PE design, because I've got a lot of people with PE design, and now the new machine came with version 11. So I'd like to also incorporate that. So we're going to probably do a little bit of everything in that software group. And it's going to be probably a bigger group, because it's going to be through the store. Tim would like me to do it through the store, because we really need to offer the software classes again. Facebook is a very inexpensive way for us to do that. Lori wants to do cross stitch. Yeah, Denise, couching. I digitized the designs and used edge-to-edge quilting and a need a good design. Oh, okay. For the designs. Okay. Cool. All right, so we're just about done with the border here. Okay, and the next step is going to be the little Celtic knots. And I'm going to change my thread again. Give me a second here. Whoops, there goes my other one. This is a lime green. This is also a brother color. This is the kind of the limey green. I think that, I can't remember what they call it. I think it's just lime green is what they call it. I'll tell you a funny story about these Celtic knots. Many of you have been coming into the store for a long time. Excuse me, I'm going to find my spool of thread that fell on the table. Many of you have been coming into the store for a long time, and I made a design years and years ago when I first started working for Tim. I used to do some designs of the month, and this was one of my designs that I made on a little, it was a little sachet pouch. And so I took these Celtic knots and just made them different. I pulled them apart. They were all in one piece, and they had a big knot, like a round knot in the center. And instead of the knot, I put the shamrock in the middle. I'm going to raise this up a little bit so I think you can see better. So that's my Celtic knots from one of my designs from many years ago. I think it was about 2007 or 2008 when I did those. That's cool, Denise. Can you send me some pictures of your pillows? I'd like to see them. I know you said you'd made a bunch. When I talked to you one time, you said you'd made a lot of them. So I'd love to see them. So anyway, these are my Celtic knots. These were digitized in PE Design, I believe. That was before we had the Floriani software at that time. And I did most of my first ones in PE Design. So I've done a lot of digitizing in that software. I wish I could fast forward through the sewing, but is it okay to just watch it sew? Hopefully that's all right. I hope some of you look forward to this in the evening. I'm actually really looking forward to it every Sunday evening, so it gives me something fun and gets me together with my friends. Only my friends understand why I like to sew so much. It's like, oh, here we go. Honey, the person I want to make this for is the same person who got the sash. Oh, cool. Or the sachet. Oh, really? Did you? Yeah, you made my little sachet all those years ago. It'll be funny because it'll match. And it might even be the same color of green in the design. That's funny. I like that little sachet. I still have it. It's in the back room. I have a little box full of my old samples. I just couldn't get rid of them because they were so cute. Oh, and here's Kathy. Hi, Kathy. That's funny. So this is going to be the first panel. The second panel, again, will be done in the same order, but you're not going to put that side border on. It's just going to be a top border and a bottom border. And then when you do the third panel, the border will be, the long border will be on the other side. So everything's going to be in the same order. I tried to make it very consistent from one panel to another. All right, I'm having trouble getting it to scroll, so here we go. Margaret, yes, Sunday nights are boring. Oh, hi, Kathy. You know, I usually am home on Sunday night, and I just thought it would be fun to sew together. And I usually just watch some TV on Sunday night. I'm almost always home. It's very rare that I'm not home on Sunday evening by 5 or 6. So now, is the 6 o'clock time working, or would you rather have this at 7? I don't know what works better for you. I'd like to have some feedback on that. The reason I had it at 6 for a while is just because I've been watching a show that starts at 7 and then again at 8. So I like to be able to watch that show right after we're done. But it's done this week. This is the last week for it, so I won't have anything at 7. So it's up to you what time works better. Either one is, I'm open to either one. Oh, we got a bunch of people in here now. We've got 14. So what kind of projects would you, most of you are going to be in that software group too. What kind of projects would you like to do projects that we're actually digitizing from start to finish so that we can sew it out? Because that's how I learned best. I don't know about you. Okay, so it says Jackie, yes, but I didn't see warning. Oh, that's true. If we go long, that's true. I don't mind the 6 o'clock. It's fine with me if that works for you. I worry about supper times, but maybe you eat earlier or later. So that would be fine. I like the 6 o'clock actually, because then I'm done by 7, and I can, if I want to watch TV, I can watch. But Jackie says you didn't see the warning. Oh, you didn't get the notification. Is that what you mean by that, Jackie? 6 works fine. Okay. Using the scanner on the drill. Oh yeah. Well, Jackie, what I don't mind doing that. That's why I have Dream Club at the store. So I may do some projects with, but you usually come to Dream Club. So we can do some projects on the scan with the scanner, but I've been trying to do those for Dream Club at the store. I was trying to do other things that were different than at the store here. Six is fine. Okay, good. So 6 o'clock seems to work for everybody. Yeah, Sundays is not a big, sometimes it's not a big TV night. I'm usually home to watch TV on Sunday, so that's why I like to watch TV on Sunday. Got a couple more of these to do. I'm sorry this one's taking a little longer. The applique doesn't take very long, and that's the last thing. It's on the third one. I might let it finish this one, and then I'll jump ahead to the applique so you can see the applique before. I only wanted to go about an hour, if that's okay with you. Yeah, Jackie, if you could, the next one is going to be Tuesday. I'm actually going down Tuesday, and we're going to talk more about. On Tuesday, we're going to do the. We're going to talk about the laser lights and the pen functions again. I think we need to review that. Oh, wish I could. I wish I could film it too. I don't know how I could do that, Lisa. I don't have enough cameras. I agree. I think that would be a good thing to put to film them. So I may try to figure out a way I can do that. Because I've had other people ask me for that too. So the second my iron's going to turn off again, so I'm going to go wiggle it. So we're going to need that iron here in a minute. Yeah, because the Dream Club is more like this week we're going to do the stuff with, we're going to talk about the laser light and the pen functions on both machines. And then a little bit about probably the snowman and the scanner function again, because I think I need to review that because I'm still getting a lot of questions about it. And that will be Tuesday in Davenport. So Jackie, hopefully you can come. Hopefully it'll warm up by then. It's a crisp 1 degree here in Coral, though. It got really cold while we were out today. 6 is fine with me, also good. I think they probably could, Denise, run a video. I use the camera that I'm using right now. I use this for for the projector so that people can see up on the screen, like you've been there and you see what I do. I would have to have another video camera, and that's something I don't have. So I think people would really like it if we had a camera, and even if I could just, if Ron could just stand behind it and make sure it's running, you know, I think that would be good, because then I could put this up on. Expected to be -19 without wind here tonight. Ooh, is that for you, Lisa, up there and Spencer? Yes, Jackie, it is at 4:30 on Tuesday. And it'll be about an hour. It'll be a little shorter this time, probably. And then in April, it'll be Scan and Cut Club instead of Dream Club. We'll do Scan and Cut. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to the. I'll just stop this. I'm just going to jump ahead, and I'll go back and do my last Celtic knot. So there'll be 4 Celtic knots along the corners here. And we're going to go ahead and skip ahead a step so that we can be finished by 7. So I'm going to go ahead, and everybody knows how to skip ahead, right? I'll just move this over here so you can see. Okay, we're going to touch the button, the negative positive needle, and I'm going to skip ahead a whole color. So the newer machines have the little arrows now, like the Dream machines and Luminaire. So I want to go down a color to the placement line for the Shamrock. So in the instruction for this, it says the glitter Shamrock placement line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew, and I want the outline of this to be in a gold metallic. So I'm going to go ahead and put my gold metallic in. I'm trying to remember how I did the other one. Oh, I did that in green. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put my gold metallic in the machine. This is Madeira metallic. Runs through the machine very well. The Floriani will as well. And I know I don't have I don't normally put a metallic needle in unless I'm doing like the whole thing is metallic. I'll put one in then, but this one is not. So okay, so I went down a step here so that we're going to do the placement line for the Shamrock. And then, oops, here. Go ahead and do that placement line. We know where to put this down. And this is where I had to take the fill out of from underneath the Shamrock, because the stuff would show it all. So, and if you're using fabric, it would have been okay, but this stuff irons down. So, all right. So what the instruction says here is to remove the clear transfer sheet from the glitter vinyl. And what that means is this is glitter vinyl that you would iron like onto a t-shirt. And they always have a transfer sheet, and it's this clear sheet right here. And then underneath there is the vinyl. And this is the glitter side, and this is the wrong side. Okay, so you want to take this off because we don't want to sew that into our project. We just want the glitter. So you basically just take that off and throw it away. And then I'm going to lay my glitter over my shamrock, just like any other applique. Now what I did is my pieces are a little bit small because I had barely enough. So I have to kind of turn mine, if you can see here, I'll go back again a little bit closer. I have mine kind of turned on point here because mine is just barely big enough. I was just about out of glitter vinyl. Okay, so this is the tack down line. It's going to go around twice, hopefully. I got to locate my scissors again. It went around twice. And then we're going to trim this just like any other vinyl. It says, remove the clear vinyl, we did, and then glitter shamrock tack down, trim the glitter vinyl close to the stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this. Hopefully you can see me trimming it. If I leave it in the machine here, you'll be able to see better. And you can trim it just like any other fabric. It's a little weird. It's probably not good for my scissors because it's got this glitter in it, but I'll send them in and get them sharpened again. I've been using quite a bit of this stuff lately. I think I put a piece in the Valentine pillow too. But it makes it bright and shiny. I thought this one was really pretty with it on the sides. So how many people got this stuff? Were you able to find it like at Joann's, or I got this at Hobby Lobby, I think. If you're sewing along, did you have the little glitter vinyl too? And you can put fabric in, that's fine. Takes me a minute to trim this. You want to get fairly close. When I do my applique, when I digitize these, I like to inset the satin stitches so that they are inset about 30%. And when we do some digitizing in the other group, we'll talk about that. That way I know that I don't have to worry about the fabric being covered on the edges, because a lot of digitizers use a 50-50 split. And then sometimes then your fabric, it's real easy for it to kind of fray out. So I try to do that. Second here, I'm going to back this up so I can get around this other side here. I like to back that out, back it up a little bit so that you can, it goes more into the fabric than on the outside of the fabric. Then you don't have to worry about your fabric coming out. And that was something that a friend of mine named Charlotte taught me many years ago when I started digitizing. We were talking about that one time and she told me that. And it does work because then your fabric doesn't. Okay, so the trick is with this stuff, make sure you don't have any pieces of it sitting on your fabric. Because remember, this stuff is iron-on. So we're going to go over to the iron next. That's why I wanted to show you this part. I'm going to throw these away. I'm going to go over here to my ironing pad. I got my ironing pad sitting next to my machine here. And with this, before you sew the satin stitches down on here, I'm going to put this ironing pad on my, I've got like one of those wool ironing pads. And here's my glitter. I think I've got my, there we go. Can you see better now? There's my glitter vinyl. We're going to put, you need to have a pressing cloth over the top of this. Don't iron directly down on this stuff. But we need to iron this on to the fabric so it's adhered, because otherwise it likes to pucker when you sew on it. And I'm just going to press my iron down on here. This hoop is really large, so you can just put an iron down on it. It's set at cotton, and I'm going to hold it down for about, 30 seconds or so, just to keep it attached to the fabric. That way it won't pucker on us when we go to do the satin stitching. Okay. And this is why, and then I let it cool a little bit because it's kind of soft when you iron it. So you want to let it cool just a minute before you start sewing on it again. But if you don't do this, it will pucker quite a bit. I had a little problems with the first one of these that I did. I was doing those little bench pillows, those little Kimber bench buddies. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. And I had never used this as applique fabric before. And I did one, and it was very, very wrinkly because I didn't iron it down. I thought, oh, I don't need to iron it down. Well, read the directions, Jan. You do need to iron it down. All right, so the next step then is going to be our satin stitches. So I'm going to put my foot down. It's cooled off, and we're going to do the satin stitches. And I am going to do the satin stitches in metallic. I kind of liked it. I wasn't sure if I'd like it in the metallic, and I did it, and I thought, hey, that looks pretty good. I like the shiny stuff on there. Looks like it's going to turn out pretty good. I must have gotten it ironed down because it's not puckering up on me. Have you guys seen those little bench buddies? Have you seen the bench buddies I've been posting on my Facebook page? They are really cute. I'm getting ready to do the Easter ones. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to tell you tonight is we're going to start a Kimber club for those of you who like the Kimber designs, and it's going to be a quarterly club. It'll start in May. So Tim and I just talked about it and got everything all settled. So it'll be in the store in May, and then it'll be May, August, November, and March of 2020. And it'll be a whole day thing. So it'll be like from 10 to 5. We'll do 3 projects, and you'll get all the designs for the 3 projects, and all the instructions for 3 projects each time, and all the kits. And then there'll be one extra one that you'll just get the designs and instructions. So, and there's 13 different projects. So they're really cute. And you can't buy them anywhere else. They're exclusive to dealers only. And you can't buy like the designs on a CD. So the first ones are going to be, I think it's one of the watercolor cards, and a Sweet Feet. It's a little rain boot. It's really cute. And what's the other one, Lynn? Lynn's going to help me. Lynn's going to teach the classes in Davenport, and I'm going to do the ones that I was saying. And I can't remember what the other one was. Oh, is it it's a little zipper bag, right? That'll start in May. I'm really looking forward to those. I think they'll be fun. I am using a gold metallic. This one is just the gold metallic. It's not one of those other ones. It's like the number 40. I don't know if it has a color. 4006 it says. Oh, gold number 6. It says gold number 6. Judy and I did that. I Need a Good Design. What was it called? I Need a Good Design. Golden Tapestry. So we each ordered a great big spool of gold because it was all gold metallic, that entire thing. There was a blue, like for the quilting in it, that was Floriani color, and then we had all gold metallic. So, but you can see, I think you can see okay. Mine, I'll bring this up a little closer, but the fabric, the edge of the fabric is very covered because there's a little bit of the, there's more of the stitches on the inside of the fabric than on the outside of the fabric. Get close here. Then I'll go around. I won't take it out of the hoop so I can go back and get that other piece that I didn't do. So how's everybody doing on their rugs? I've seen a lot of pictures. Everybody looks like they're doing well. I made prototypes. Oh, did you? Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to work on them yet. I'm hoping to do that this week. Watercolor cards, attachment sticker pouch, and the reindeer. Cool. I ordered some of those water pens, Lynn. I found some. They didn't have any at Hobby Lobby. They were out, so I ordered them on their website. All right. Yeah, Madeira. It's Madeira Gold number 6. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Kimber Club. I think it'll be really fun. And we're going to do like a yearly thing, so you can sign up for the entire year. You'll know when all the classes are going to be, and you can sign up in advance, and we won't have to, you won't have to sign up every 3 months. You can just sign up for the whole year, get it all done with. You'll get a really nice notebook. We're going to get you notebooks with your instructions in it and everything. So I think it'll be fun. And a USB stick with all the designs. You can put all your designs on it. Okay, so I've got all of the satin stitching done. The last step, which is number 17, there's just a little decorative stitch that goes around through the satin stitches. And I'm going to do that, oops, so hopefully in my dark green. Let's put that in the machine. Get that threaded. Oh, and so just so you know, I also have a number 11 embroidery needle in the machine. Just a standard number 11 organ embroidery needle that I use most of the time. So then we're going to do this little decorative stitch through here. Yeah, so we got some real fun stuff coming up this spring, so you'll have to watch. If you're not signed up for the Anita Good Design event, that's in April. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be really neat. They've changed their format, so if you've been to some of them before, this is a totally different format. So it's a embroidery one, obviously, but it's University, Anita's University 101. So I think I'm really looking forward to it. It's just going to be different. We haven't done a Anita Good Design event for a while. All right, so there I am around, all the way around with my decorative stitch, and that is that panel. Now, does anybody have questions about how to do the other 2 panels? Does this all make sense to you, and do the instructions make sense to you? Again, if you don't have the design and you want it, just let me know and I can send it to you. It's $10, so $10.60 with the tax. All right. Now, then at this point, and I'm not going to do that right in front of you. I think you understand what I mean. Where that tack down stitch is all the way around the outside edge, you want to take this out of the hoop at this point, and then you want to trim from the outside stitching on all 4 sides 1/2 inch away from this white stitching that we went around the outside edge right here. Okay, so you're going to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. All right, so that would be the last step, and then you do the same thing on each of the other 2 panels. Okay, so I think we're done with the embroidery. Does everybody feel comfortable with that? I'll put my face up here on here again for you. If I can get this turned around. I'm looking forward to my new device. I found a new tripod that is going to be, it clamps to my sewing table, so hopefully it'll be easier for you to see things, because I can get it a little closer, I think. So, okay, does anybody else have any questions? So remember, take this out of the hoop now and trim a 1/2 inch all the way around and set it aside. And then next week, I'll show you how to assemble the pillow and how to do the, put it together and do the binding on it. So, everybody good? We ran a little more than an hour. I knew it would be a little more, just because it takes a little while to sew. So, all right. Anybody have any other questions? Thanks, Jackie. Were you sewing along, Jackie, or were you going to sew yours later? You said yours was going to be a gift. Night, Lynn. Okay, so we'll say goodnight tonight. And if you have any questions about the design, or if there's something that doesn't look right to you, just let me know. And I will be back at the same time at 6 o'clock next Sunday, and we will put together the pillow. All right, thanks everybody. Good night. Have a good evening. Thanks, Donna. Oh, you got yours almost done too, Lisa? Good. Great. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Have a good evening.